It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Oh, it's here. High school football actually starts tonight, week 0. In the state of Tennessee, ECS at Briarcrest, KIPP at Bluff City. Christian Brothers is hosting Fayette Ware. Hillcrest is at Manassas. Overton at Ridgeway. Kirby at Sheffield. We got games that count. Holy smokes. I might have to make my way out to Christian Brothers for a little bit today. Two things have occurred that make you understand that this is no longer college football. It is pro. Did you see the story on South Carolina starting quarterback Lenora Sellers? You know how many classes he's got for this year?
1.
No class.
Oh, yeah.
0 classes.
0 classes.
He's got an internship.
Yeah, with the golf
at a
thing.
driving range.
I love it.
He's going to pick up some balls. That's. I mean, it's just a facade. And then now there's 3 ex-Ole Miss stars, right? They just because of a court in Louisiana have gotten a 5th year. It was granted by a court down there. Tight end Daquan Wright, right tackle Xavion Harris, and cornerback Wadette Williams. If they've been granted a 5th year, 2 of those 3 are on NFL rosters.
Right. And you had the kid at Tennessee who didn't stay in the draft, but had an agent pay for it, paid the agent back, but he's suspended for 2 games.
Right.
It's crazy.
But these 2 guys they're on rosters. They may be allowed. Well, they're guaranteed allowed to go get NIL money. If all 3 of those guys go, Ole Miss has to find the money, right? That's 1.
Right.
2, they got to cut 3 guys. This is pro sports. You don't go to class. Holy smokes. It's a whole different world. It's also a whole different world with AI and a bunch of BS. So I got in several texts this morning and worry, even though I heard him last night on Stats and Bryant on Sports Time, that Tommy West was sick with cancer. And get this, the university is paying, he must be destitute, he's paying for his treatments. So I couldn't believe it. I had to call the coach myself. Let's start, Coach. Are you okay? Is your health all right? Good morning.
I'm real good. I appreciate you clearing that up.
Thank God for
that.
that.
I think it's probably it's a Louisville fan that's still mad about that beatdown we gave them up at Papa John's.
The one where they said nothing left but a pile of feathers?
Pile of feathers. Somebody's
Yes.
still mad about it.
Yes, I can believe that. That is crazy stuff. I loved what your line when I talked to you earlier was, tell the school to just send me the money.
Yeah, I don't need the treatments or anything, but if they're giving money, well, go ahead and just send me the money.
That, honestly, Coach, this is such crazy stuff. Can you believe this world we live in?
I cannot believe it. You know, it's funny. I had a former player that texted me last night and just said, "Coach, praying for you." And I thought, well, that's nice. I appreciate it. Then of course it started this morning. And my phone started blowing up about this deal. And then Turner calls and he said, "Dad, you okay?" I said, "Yeah, fine." So it is nuts that you can just put whatever you want out there.
I know. Well, it's a crazy world. Could you have ever imagined coaching a player that does not have to go to class, that his one sole duty will be to pick up golf balls on the driving range?
I coached a bunch of them that didn't want to ever go to a class, but no, college football, the game is still great, but boy, how many ways can we try to screw it up?
I know. The Lenora Sellers thing, how about now? Could you imagine literally cutting 3 guys because now 3 new guys are available that are really good players? One was second team all SEC last year. They all 3 started for you, but you got to find the money to make sure you can get them on the roster, and then you got to say goodbye to 3 guys.
Wow. You know, and the NCAA can't do anything to change any of this, so it's going to have to be done by conferences. They're just going to have to decide, hey, we're going to make the rules, and we're going to enforce the rules. because the NCAA can't do it.
I know it. What do you think of the Protect College Sports Act?
Well, I think this has been coming. I keep saying this. This was going on back in the 80s. Georgia and Oklahoma threatened at one time to pull, and I think that's what's got to happen now. The NCAA is worthless. I mean, they do nothing anymore, but getting away. So Sankey the SEC needs to create their own deal.
Well, that's what I'm worried that Sankey and Petitti from the Big Ten will end up pulling away. That's why the College Sports Act actually in it was language so that they could not do that. But I don't know if that language is still in there. That's
I don't know that.
And it really puts schools like Memphis and any other schools that are in the group of 6 way behind. And I sure hope that there's not going to be that separation, because I believe that would be the end of the rest of college football. If you're not a Power 4, you're going to be like a Division II or Division III school.
Yeah, and it may not even be you're exactly right. It may not even be a Power 4, but because they're gonna share the pie with as few as they have to. But yeah, I agree 100%. That will not be good for schools like Memphis and at that level.
Yeah, crazy. But I just want to clarify, because again, my phone hasn't rung like yours, but I've had plenty of people that really, because they love you, Coach, are really worried about you, and just clarify that you're okay.
Yeah, I appreciate the concern and the thoughts, but I am fine. Matter of fact, I'm doing really good. Got my walk in this morning, and I don't have any cancer in my body that I am aware of.
Okay. That is fantastic. We will be listening. What is it, every Wednesday night on
Wednesday at 3:30.
Wednesday 3:30. Make sure you listen to Coach on Sports Time with Bryant and Stats. As always, a pleasure chatting with you. I hope to play golf and drink some wine with you sometime soon.
Well, I'd love to.
Come on to Memphis, buddy.
I'd love to.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, Dave.
You got it. That's our guy. That is Tommy West, one of my all-time favorite coaches. Thank goodness this stuff is bogus. You should see the way it's written, and I can't remember. I'm not going to look it up. I can't remember the name of the outlet that put it out, but it really looks official. It goes, beloved coach has cancer. Memphis is paying for his treatments. First off, I knew as soon as I saw that, Tommy's got some money now. He doesn't need the school to pay for his treatments. And I did love his line. Tell the school to just send me the money. I'm sitting here in the Family Leisure Studios, at Family Leisure. That's I-40 at Woodin. The dog days of summer are happening with swimming pools as low as under $2,000, $1,999. A patio furniture set 50% off. How about this? You buy something, you get a dog bandana and a tennis ball with the purchase, and when all you got to do is then send a picture of your pet with that purchase, with the bandana, you get a $50 gift card. Just tell them you heard it right here. That makes it even more special. So get the picture, get even more money as the dog days, get it, the dog in the picture, the dog days of summer continue at Family Leisure. We hook up every week with Pete Pranica, TV voice of the Grizz, played in the Pro-Am last week. How did you do, by the way? I know you did a great job of emceeing and raising money for St. Jude. How did you play? And it was at Chickasaw, right?
It was at Chickasaw. It was a Celeb Am event, and I think it was 10 under. I think that was it. It was, it was a great day on a really good golf course, but so hot and so humid. But the highlight, obviously, at the St. Jude Jam, they raised $1.5 million that night alone, and that to me is the biggest and most important thing. But yeah, it was a good day of golf, and got to meet some patient families, and anything we can do for St. Jude, I always tell them, hey, if St. Jude asks, the answer is always yes. Yeah,
you are benevolent that way, and it's really terrific. All right, I got to ask you, I know you saw at least one round of golf. What did you think of the setup at the FESJC? And, of course, Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, Scheffler is just amazing. I mean, 61 on that course. In fairness, the winds were down, so the course was fairly gettable, but he took full advantage of it, and right now is playing probably at the peak of his powers. Hats off to everybody associated with the Classic, or with the championship rather. They put on a spectacular show. Great hospitality. They did a great job with sales and being there for people, and to make the tournament accessible to as many people as possible. And, I think, like I said to you last Thursday, the PGA Tour is not on my Christmas card list because the fact that they're more or less turning their back on Memphis is shameful, actually, with all the good that the tournament has done for the city of Memphis and for St. Jude in particular. The fact that the PGA Tour is like, no, we're gonna turn our back on you, I think is absolutely absurd.
Record sales. Record TV ratings. Now, you can't just associate that with Memphis. That's the tour and the players, obviously. But the Memphis track is a pretty good televised track, and obviously pretty hard, because think about it. I'll be very curious. Belle Reve has been a major venue. I've seen the PGA there in the 90s. I think it was 92 and Nick Price won it. It was Kepko won it in 18, maybe something like that. And it's a beautiful venue, but I will bet, because Scotty was 17 under, nobody else got to double digits under. I will bet you they'll have better scores at Belle Reve.
Yeah, probably. When you would talk to players back in a few years ago, in the pre FedEx Cup days, when the tournament was the week before the U.S. Open, and a lot of guys would skip it for that fact, players would say this is one of the most underrated courses we play all year on tour. And you will talk to players, and they'll tell you it's one of their favorites. It's a very challenging setup. It's a fair setup. Obviously, there's a lot of water there, as I have discovered through the years. But it's a great course. The players love coming to Memphis. They love the hospitality. They love the rendezvous on ribs on the range. It's a tremendous story, not only for Memphis but for the PGA Tour.
You talk about, I can't remember if it was 11 or 14. I want to say it was 14. That the most water balls of any hole on the PGA Tour. Yep,
and a lot of amateurs have deposited Titleist Pro V1s there too. Yeah. I can attest to that.
I can too. All right, let's talk a little bit about salary cap in the NBA. I know that is not your total expertise, but there was a nice explanation about it. So, the salary cap this past year is $165 million. So that's what you got to pay. However, you can pay more than that, up to $200.5 million. Okay. So that's where the luxury tax begins. Now there's a couple of different areas of that. You can go up to $209 million. That's the first apron. If you're at 209, it's more penal, because 209 is another threshold. And then the top threshold, you can't go past 221.7. There's penalties starting at basically 200.5, bigger at 209, bigger at 221.7. No one wants to be in threshold number 2. How penal are these things, Pete? And do you think, and there's a few more years to chew on all this, because that's when the CBA will be up, but do you think this will hold up? We got a salary cap issue in baseball. It's always been accepted the way it is at 53% in the NBA, but people have exceeded it. Do you think that will be an issue in the next CBA?
I think it'll definitely be an issue, because the second apron and teams not wanting to go into that second apron because of the penalties, there's going to be more player movement, and players are, they want to get paid, but they're going to get paid less, or it's going to be a lot harder for them to get the contracts they want, because teams are trying to avoid that second apron, if not the first apron. So it's going to be a major point of contention in the next CBA. There's no doubt about that. I'm trying to remember. I know at one point, I think under the old CBA, the first level was $1 for dollar tax that you're over, and the second apron was like a 2-to-1 ratio. How far you went over. And the other thing too is that for smaller market teams, you definitely don't want to go into the luxury tax, because if you are a non-taxpayer, all the taxpayers, that big pot of money is then divided among the non-payers.
Right.
So, you can make out really well if you are very judicious in terms of how you handle the salary cap, that you go over the cap but not over the tax line.
The Grizzlies have operated that way. They are no longer there. Now they got major flexibility because they don't have the Ja contract. They don't have the Triple J contract, and they don't have any of those major big deals that they used to have with the old Big Three.
Right. I think that was part of the reason maybe for the breakup, because you really can't have three guys on what were essentially max contracts. It makes it very, very hard to maneuver around the auxiliary pieces, if you will, the complementary pieces, and not go into a tax situation.
Well, and now they've built in a little cushion, because this is the one bad thing about these hard caps. If you've got a really good team, let's say like OKC, and the guys that you get when they're young get to maturation, now you got to pay them. That's what happened with Triple J and with Ja. If Zach Edey lives up to the billing, and if Coward lives up to the billing, and if Cameron Boozer lives up to the billing, 3 years from now, you got to figure out a way to keep them together to pay all three.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the downside, as Oklahoma City found out, when you have a ton of draft picks and you draft really, really well, and these guys turn out. And I was like, oh wait, at some point, we're going to have to make some tough decisions, and we're going to have to pay people. So, we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, that is one of the things when you do have a core group that is within a year or two of each other, then the rookie contracts are going to come up, in succession, and then you're going to have to figure out if you're going to pay them. And yeah, Zach Edey. If he pans out and remains healthy, he's going to pan out. I guess the question is, can he stay healthy?
Right.
If he can stay healthy, then there's going to be a big number when that rookie contract is done.
Well, his agent is on with us every Friday, Andy Schiffman from Priority Sports in Chicago, and he's saying he's on a good track, that he's going to be ready. I sure hope that is the case. Nice story in the Commercial Appeal today about Jeremy Grant, the veteran who was part of the deal that brought Ja to Portland. How much usage do you think you'll get with Jeremy Grant this year? Is he really going to be involved in the rotation of the Grizz?
I would think so, certainly to begin the season, because he is really he's now the OG on the roster, and someone who's been around, and I think is a good professional, has been a productive professional, and can be a good mentor for the Grizzlies' young wings. Now, we saw it last year with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He started the season in the starting lineup, and then they made the transition to bring Cedric Coward into the starting lineup, and KCP in a reserve role. You may see something like that. I mean, that's just a guess on my part, but Jeremy Grant I've always been impressed with his game, and I think he can be a really good piece for this team, not only with his production on the floor, but I think there can be an element of leadership that he can add, which is really good, because this is going to be one of the younger teams in the NBA again.
I've not asked you this, and this has not been brought up much, but obviously Ja had to go. His shelf life was ended here, but he's still a young guy. Do you think he resurrects his career to the level that it was when he was at his peak in a Memphis uniform? Does he do that in Portland?
That's going to depend on health, and his ability to recover from injury, and how well he gets along with Micah Nori, and that whole situation. Portland is, as Zach Randolph found out, Memphis and Portland are really not quite polar opposites, but they're very, very different markets. And so, how well does he take to the environment of the Pacific Northwest? And, there's so much controversy there with Tom Dundon and whether or not they're going to be able to renovate the arena. So it probably will help Ja that he'll be a little bit out of the public spotlight because so much attention on that franchise. When you talk about Portland, the word association now is arena renovation or Tom Dundon. So I think he can build back his career in relative peace and quiet, given the other things that are going on there.
You know, it's crazy about arenas, honestly, because it used to be called the Rose Garden when it first opened, and I actually did an arena football league game on TV when the Pharaohs were here, and I can't even remember the Portland's team name, but I thought, oh my God, what a beautiful arena. And I love Portland. I remember going there in the early 80s with the showboats and just falling in love with the city. And then Memphis was back there to play Oregon, I don't know, 3 years ago, something like that. And the building had been renovated again, and I thought it was terrific. Do you get the sense that building, whatever its name now, is in dire need of being replaced?
I don't think it needs to be replaced. I think that, renovation is the way to go. That building's probably 30-ish years old. Yeah. Which, in arena terms,
probably 40-ish years old. I think I'm trying to remember when we did that arena. It might have been in the early 90s, so that would be. I want to say that would be mid-30s.
Well, the dedication game was the Vancouver Grizzlies and Portland Trailblazers. So that was when Vancouver came in the league. So that was 95?
It sounded correct. Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, but in any event, I mean, it depends how much more they can really do. For example, I was reading an article, the loading dock needs to be widened, and their concerts are bypassing the Rose Garden or Moda Center. I still call it the Rose Garden. I mean, I work there, so I'm going to call it the Rose Garden. There's so many things back of house that need to be done. They put in a new scoreboard. They did some new seating. What's crazy about this is that Tom Dundon says you need to renovate this place, but we're not going to tell you exactly how your money's going to get spent, which is kind of a crazy way to do business.
The official groundbreaking on the Rose Garden was 1993 in July, so it's 33 years old.
There you go.
How about that? Thank you, AI. Very quick, isn't it? Last thing. I found it very interesting that through the at least midterm of this NBA investigation, on Steve Ballmer and the Clippers and trying to avoid the salary cap to pay Kawhi Leonard, that they are finding that in that case so far they don't have a whole lot of evidence that Ballmer was circumventing the cap and knew about this funneling of money. Now, I don't think the total investigation is complete, but I'm beginning to think that the Clippers, Kawhi, and Ballmer may walk from this.
I think, well, there was some word about negotiation of what the penalty would be, which tells me that, look, and it's been pointed out, players are pointed towards sponsors for deals, okay?
Right.
A lot of times that may be a player getting a new car. We're talking about millions of dollars, and there was really no work exchange. And I think that's what's really problematic. Players are introduced to sponsors, and sponsors will do things for players. I totally get that. That's not a circumvention of the salary cap, but the fact that there were a couple of agreements, there was money that changed hands, and yet there was no work for that. That's what makes it a little suspect.
That's a little like the NIL thing, right? I mean, you gotta provide services for using your name, image, and likeness. If LeBron James legitimately does an American Express or a Capital One credit card spot, and he's paid for that for lending his name, that's legit. That's not circumventing the cap. But if you're going to a team sponsor and do nothing for it, then that's circumventing the cap. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that is fair.
And I don't know the case on what happened. And Ballmer actually was involved in that company. He said he lost money. So I guess we'll let it play out. But I got a feeling Kawhi is going to be playing in Toronto this year with minimum penalty.
Agreed.
Always a pleasure. Go play golf. It's a tough life for Pete Pranica. And we will talk again next Thursday.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it. That is Pete Pranica. When he's in town, he used to be a member of Southwind, and he's kind of moved away part of the time in Michigan. But he plays at Miramichi, and I don't blame him for playing at Miramichi. I mean, first of all, it's in Woodstock. It's not in Millington. It's 25 minutes away from my house in East Memphis. If you live on Mud Island, downtown, you're like less than 10 minutes away. It's that close. And I got to tell you, I've played it last week. It's in unreal shape. The greens there are country club-like greens. They are really that good. Since we've gotten these hybrid Bermudas, this Tiff Eagle stuff, I am telling you, that new technology in agronomy, it is fantastic. Those surfaces, the one problem may be every 15 or 20 years you got to rebuild them, but they're fantastic. And they're so true. After about 6 months to a year, they hold. And then they're great for 15 to 20 years. And of course, that's what you got when you go to Miramichi. You got a great outlook above 9 and 18. I think it's the best view in Shelby County with all the kind of liquids you might want. Great food, or you can do it inside the clubhouse with a lot of TVs to watch ball games. And it's 18 holes of beauty and competition. It's the complete golf experience in Woodstock, not Millington. That's what you get with Miramichi. When we come back, you get Tim Doolin on baseball. Can't wait for that. He's next on Wolo and Friends.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Rick's Powder Coating, for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Frame Corner, custom framing your art since 1975, is your go-to for precision designs and craftsmanship. Bring your cherished collectibles, fine art, and sports memorabilia to Frame Corner and experience expert customer care with attention to every detail. Specializing in framing and displays of sports jerseys and items ranging from little leagues to the big leagues, SEC to the NBA. Visit Frame Corner, 5035 Park Avenue near Mount Moriah, or online at framecornermemphis.com. Frame Corner, your top pick for custom framing.
Hey, Rock and Ronnie, I hear you've got the Hyundai Getaway Sales event going strong. Yo, what's up over there at Gossett Hyundai South Mount Moriah?
Randy, I've got a 2026 Hyundai Sonata SE, $346.74 a month, plus 1.99 for 72 months and 0.99 for 60 months available. Plus a 2026 Hyundai Tucson SEL Plus, $359.99 per month, plus 0% for 60 months and 1.99 for 72 months available.
Rock and Ronnie, that is awesome. What else you got?
2026 Hyundai Santa Fe SE, now $372.48 a month and 1.9% for 72 available.
Plus, you get owner's assurance with America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
Come see me, Rock and Ronnie, today at Gossett Hyundai South, 2660 Mount Moriah, or shop online at HyundaiMountMoriah.com.
Sonata DA5 37393, MSRP 29650, Tucson PH77500, MSRP 33890, Santa Fe PH19730, MSRP 37390, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill and I buy houses, any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
I just got a text, and I appreciate it. The garbage that was sent out about Tommy West, same people did the same exact thing on Archie Manning. Heartbreaking news, Ole Miss announces they will cover the full cost of cancer treatment for one of the most beloved and respected legends in program history. And there's a picture of Archie Manning. And that, folks, by the way, is garbage. Now, Archie has not been in the greatest of health, but I don't believe it's anything like this. And by the way, Arch has plenty of money to cover his expenses. And if he didn't, he's got a couple of sons that are worth a ton. That I don't understand. It just boggles my mind. Who does this stuff? Why would they do this stuff? What's their motive?
Attention.
But they don't tell you who they are.
No, but just to get people in a rise.
Wow, just crazy. I mean, just nuts. In the meantime, time to talk a little baseball. There was a little controversy last night in the Orioles-Yankees game. It was tied 3-3. It looked like the Orioles might go up 4-3 on a solo home run. It was ruled foul. They challenged. It was still ruled foul. They claim on their computers that track things at a little different system maybe than the umpires used, that ball was fair. They're saying they should put down this GPS or laser technologies with a camera on foul poles, which is probably true. I mean, that's 2 per ballpark they can afford, but it's kind of crazy. Tim Dillon, what do you think? Did you see that? And how much technology should we allow in the sport, considering the fact that they've sped things up and that the challenge of balls and strikes seems to be working pretty well? Good morning.
Yeah, no, good morning. I saw it, and look, if we're diving into all of the analytics like we have been over the last several years, and if you remember, you and I talked about it, and I wasn't so sure that the GPS on the strike zone was going to work, and it's worked, and it's sped the games up, and players. There is still some strategy to, when do you use those challenges? Clubs are even having days where they work out with their players and have them almost play checkers and off a machine as well as off of pitchers that are throwing on the side to see how accurate the players are when they make judgment. And it allows them to, put forth, okay, you can challenge, you can't challenge, whatever. And like you just mentioned, we might as well get it right on the fair foul balls as well.
Sure.
That wouldn't be much. No, it wouldn't be much at all. It's not that difficult. With TrackMan being as accurate as it is with golf and baseball and everything else, let's just utilize it.
I agree. That shouldn't have happened last night if that ball was fair. And the Braves, the Orioles technology sure seemed to indicate that it was. This is interesting to me in an era where, there's a lot of long ball, but there's a lot of Ks, and a guy like Jacob Mizorowski is throwing the ball over 100 almost every time he throws it. We've seen a guy who came in right from college, be great with Pittsburgh, and Paul Skeens. Now they say he's lost some velocity. He's too young to lose that much velocity. What do you think's going on there? Is this a new trend we might see more of?
Well, I think, anytime that you're changing your model into, we're going to bring up pitchers, have them throw as hard as they can, as long as they can, and then if they end up having Tommy John, we just put them on the shelf for a year, bring them back. They're throwing the ball as hard, if not harder. And they've got plenty of other guys that they're reloading with. I don't like that. John Smoltz talks about it all the time. We're not teaching young guys how to pitch more so than we are just trying to make sure they're increasing velocity. So I don't worry about Steen from the standpoint of that his velo's dropped a mile or 2 per hour on average over the last couple of years. He does have a stringent workout program that he does religiously and has done. And I think at some point in time, he probably needs to back off of that and modify it to some extent. But he knows his body better than we do. And the other thing, too, is that a lot of times you see guys, we lost Tommy John this past, week, and a lot of those guys had, after surgery and after the longevity kicks in and their careers are on the back end, they have to learn how to get guys out, and they can't do it with their fastball. So they had to learn how to pitch more.
Right.
Add and subtract, change up, moving the ball, all over the place. Now you look up and you got guys in the big leagues that are having success have 6 pitches. That's crazy. When I was playing, they might have 3.
Right.
Some might have 4, but most of them lived off of 1 or 2, and they would throw the 3rd or 4th one just to let you know they had something. Now we got guys throwing 6 different pitches. So I'm not worried about Steen. At some point in time, I'm sure he's trying to stay in shape to where he doesn't blow out. But at some point in time, guys that are throwing that hard, the same thing with Mizorowski. Your arms aren't made to throw baseballs. That's why girls throwing softballs underhanded can throw a lot, because it's your natural movement. So I think they're going to monitor schemes, but at the end of the day, I think he's just trying to figure out how he can be effective in not throwing 100 miles an hour.
I got to ask you, 6 different pitches, and I see this. I've seen a guy with like 8 different pitches that they will modify. How much different is it? Like, here's a regular fastball or a 2-seam fastball. How much different is there? Like, if you name 6 different pitches, slider, curveball, changeup. I mean, obviously some pitchers use a curveball that's slowed down as a changeup, but like, how much variation? How different is that look? Honestly, is it real subtle, or is there a big difference when you got 6 pitches?
Well, I think an oxymoron would be it's subtle, but it is a big difference. You're talking about guys, in my era, Jason Grimsley and some others were throwing a cutter. And Mariano made a living not throwing a cutter, although he was a closer. But you talk about a ball that's coming in there with the same velocity as a fastball, a 4-seamer, but it scoots over, which basically at the last minute it runs to the end of your bat, versus or possibly to the handle of the bat, depending on who's pitching, and that's a big difference, because the sweet spot on a bat is not very big. If you don't square it up, it's not going to go as far. And so I think it's now you got to command it. The toughest thing that people don't understand is you're watching it on TV and you go, how's that guy swing and miss that pitch by that much?
Right.
Well, the ball, all these guys' balls are what they call tunneling. They're coming out of the same release point. So for 50 feet, it looks like it's a fastball, and then all of a sudden it breaks away or runs in or backs up or, rises to some extent. So I think it is more difficult today to hit because guys are doing so much different things to the ball. But at the end of the day, they're using those pitches effectively, and I do think the analytics has helped pitchers get some form of a strategy to say, okay, I'm going to throw this pitch this percentage of time, and this is working, and they're constantly making changes. So it's very difficult from a hitting perspective, because you're not picking up rotation. When guys throw a really good breaking ball, a slider or a curveball, sometimes it's a difficult pitch to throw, and sometimes it forms, the red portion of the seams will form a red dot. Well, that red dot lets you know that it's a breaking ball. Well, if they throw it really good, that red dot's so small you can't pick it up. So you're swinging at a curveball, but it looked like a fastball. So it's definitely and part of it too is, and we've changed our model of hitting to where, I think there was a report the other day that there are less 300 hitters now than there's ever been. And that's, to me, that's not good. I mean, I think we got to get back to standardizing. Give me a guy that can be a really, really good hitter first, and then let him evolve into becoming a guy that hits potentially with power.
Well, how much of that loss of average is pitching and 6 pitches or 8 different types of pitching, of pitches coming at you, or how much of that is the change in philosophy, where not necessarily is it shameful to have a strikeout if you're trying to hit home runs instead of contact and singles, and I think there's a whole different philosophy that has changed in the mind of hitters, and the strategy that managers use that way.
100%. Well, and I don't think it's the manager. I think it's the front office and the analytics department convincing and telling the manager this is how we're going to be successful, and it's going to be the American League style of play, where we don't care if Aaron Judge hits 240, as long as he's driving in 100 and he's hitting 35 home runs. So to me, we've got to get some form of balance, because look, we talk about this all the time. As we're getting closer to the playoffs, good pitching shuts down good hitting every day. And if your good hitters are guys that are swinging for the fence, there's going to be even more strikeouts in the playoffs. The teams, to me, that win have a blend. The Dodgers, back in the day, the Red Sox, they have a core group of 3 or 4 guys that can do damage and hit the ball over the fence. Then they have another core group of guys that can do a little bit of a blend. And then they have the rest of them are guys that put the ball in play. If you're putting the ball in play, someone out there's got to catch it and throw it, and sometimes that doesn't work. So I think you gotta be evaluating your team and figuring out, and I know we talked off the air, but how in the world are the Rays and the Brewers continuing to win, having sometimes 25% of the big market clubs payroll?
Look, the Rays
they play baseball.
The Rays are 26 games above 500, 5 games ahead of the Yankees. The Brewers have the best record in baseball. They are 78-49.
Can you name 4 players on the Rays team? I can't.
No. If I asked T.J. Reeves, it could, because he's covering it down there. But I swear to you, I don't know, because their salary budget is probably half of the Dodgers or the Yankees.
Oh, not even half.
Not even half.
But
wow, crazy.
Not even half. But and sometimes Kyle Tucker's struggling big time. I said from the get-go, that's an overpay, and I guarantee the analytics department said if we can get this left-handed hitter that can do this, this, and this, then it's going to add even more, value to our club and help us continue to win world championships.
He was injured with the Cubs last year. He had a bad year last year, and yet the Dodgers took the gamble with him this year.
And look, there wasn't enough of a body of work that he had done it at a high level long enough to justify paying him what they're paying him.
I agree.
And I think the pressure's gotten to him. I mean, here's a guy that's a good athlete, dropping fly balls, not scoring on bases that easily should have scored on, and then he's pressing offensively. And it doesn't matter how much money you're getting paid or how it's guaranteed or not. That still doesn't help you sleep at night when you're struggling as an athlete.
I know. He presses, too. Man, he got booed so bad in Wrigley Field. Although, first game or two, he played pretty good there. But, man, fans on him like crazy. Tim, as always, we appreciate it. We'll do it again next Thursday.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you. That's Tim Doolin on baseball. He's brought to you by Shell Dunn. It's hot. That's for sure. Temperatures soaring. We know that. Guess what, my man Sheldon Rosengard is saying? That's the way the real estate market is too. Hot as could be. And if your house has been on the market the last 30 to 40 days, something's wrong if it hasn't moved. What could be wrong? Like the condition for one thing, or maybe it's the price in relation to the condition. These days, buyers are super picky because there's a lot of volume out there, demand, supply, a lot of supply out there. So it is definitely a buyer's market. But how do you change that? You get the right strategy. Who gives you the right strategy? My guy, Sheldon Rosengarten, 40 years of experience, works the strategic marketing program like a champ and works 365, 24/7. He says, talk to him. A lot of real estate agents will talk to him about the market. He's the dean. 483-0546. That's the number. He'll pick it up within the second ring. Or you can get a hold of him at memphisrelocate.com. That's 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. We're going downtown. We talk to the Hall of Famer, Jarvis Greer, in just a minute.
Be sure to download our Hub 901 app for instant access to Sports 56 and all the Flynn Broadcasting stations from anywhere. Go to the App Store and get the Hub 901 app today.
Plaida Mexican Restaurant would like to recognize and salute all of our veterans and local men and women in uniform. Let's remember them in our thoughts, prayers, and especially letters and packages from home. Our support helps keep America strong. That's Plaida Mexican Restaurant at 6194 Macon Road in Memphis, where they're always working for the safety and welfare of our community. Stop in soon for great Mexican food, great service, and a great time.
Uncorn flavor, Corky's barbecue. We're cooking it up, down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. With over 175,000 cars served in our drive-thru, 4,000 online pickup orders, and 1,500 party packs delivered to offices and events every year, Corky's is your trusted go-to barbecue for parties. Our party packs start at just $6.99 per person. You can choose 1, 2, or 3 meat combos, pick your favorite sides, and as you know, Corky's always gives you plenty of food, so you never worry about running out. Whether it's pickup or delivery, we've got you covered. Corky's makes it easy to impress your guests. Visit Corky'sBBQ.com to order for your next gathering today.
Encore flavor, Corky's barbecue.
Old Dominick Distillery's award-winning 8-year reserve bourbon is back in Memphis for its second year. Small batch, intentional, and proudly made in Memphis. This is bourbon for the love of bourbon. A slow sipper with a flavor journey that's been refined by time. Find Old Dominick's 8-year reserve bourbon at an area retailer. This pour is reserved for you. Old Dominick Distillery, 305 South Front Street, or online at olddominick.com.
Rebel Nation, get the latest on everything Ole Miss sports with the Cannon Motors of Mississippi Rebel Yell Hotline. Join Rebel insiders Chuck Rounsville, Yancey Porter, and Gary Darby Monday nights at 6 as they break down the latest with the Rebels, along with even more insight from special guests. Rebel Yell Hotline, Mondays at 6 p.m. on WHBQ.
Stay up to date with everything going on in Ole Miss athletics with Rebel Yell Hotline every Monday night from 6 to 7 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
All we hear is Radio we head downtown. The Hall of Famer Jarvis Greer standing by. He's also got the duty of being my analyst on the Tiger football broadcast. Will be leaving a week from tomorrow to go to Vegas. You know, the Tigers were the third highest ranked G6 football team in the coaches poll. Not so in the AP poll. They did get 2 votes. Navy got the most at 10. They were the top in the American. Actually, Tulane got a vote, too. So 3 Americans that got votes in the AP poll. But they're way down. Obviously, Boise and UNLV were 1 and 2 again, like they were in the coaches poll. Do you feel slighted at all?
You know, it's kind of I have mixed feelings about it. First of all, I'm glad that they know that we exist, you know, because we could have fallen off the face of the earth after losing Ryan Silverfield, who had a really good run here. You know, he averaged, like 9-10 wins a season there for a minute. And you know, you got the new coach coming in, all these new players. It's like, will we still, would Memphis still be thought of highly in the group of 6? And at least, you know, our name is out there. They know we're there, so that's good. But nobody knows anything about these teams now. What really puzzles me is I get UNLV with Dan Mullen and Boise with their coach. They are back, and they have you know, a lot of their players back. I get that, but nobody knows anything about anybody else really. Navy, it's a question mark to me because they lost so much. I mean, Heinrich and the quarterback Horvath, who's a nightmare. I love him to death because he plays for the United States Navy, and I hope that he has a great career as a naval aviator or whatever it is that he's in. But in Heinrich and Fagot, that linebacker, that defensive back was really, really good. They lost so much, but they still picked them over the top. How do they do that when everybody's basically going to be?
I don't know. I agree with you. Blake Horvath, well, let's face it, the best Navy quarterback in the history of the school. You know who that is, don't you?
Oh, he played a few years ago. Oh, Staubach?
Roger Staubach. I don't think anybody's going to argue with Roger Staubach. After that, they had a guy, it was Perry.
Well, just a few years ago. He was great.
He might have been better than Horvath, but then Horvath was very close. And it took a while for Horvath to come along after Perry. That was a good, 8 years, 10 years? I'm sure this kid that is going to take his place is pretty good.
He's a good quarterback. Now.
You know he's going to be tough. You know he's going to be tough. He's a Navy guy. But he's not going to have Horvath's speed, honestly. I doubt. The
well,
odds
yeah,
would
he
be.
also didn't have Heidenreich out there to pitch the ball to, and that other little wingback they had that was really fast. He also graduated.
His name was
Texter was the fullback.
Yeah,
but he also had a wingback that was really good. He was a senior. But
well,
Texter, yeah,
and they lost their
really
tackling machine on defense.
Yeah, Pagoda, the linebacker. So, and that free safety was really good. The one that picked off that last pass up there a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Hennigan threw that right to him.
Yeah. But like it's so I don't know. I mean, I know they have that separate kind of program where they stash all those guys until they're ready to bring them over and play. But and I'm still saying it's the Pentagon. They could, you talk about NIL and all that. Well, they're at a disadvantage. No, they're not. They could pay them whatever they want to pay. It's because they're already getting paid.
Well, they got a set salary. Wait. They don't pay them whatever
they have a set salary.
They have a set salary.
Whatever they want to pay them.
But they have a set salary they give every cadet. That's now. Let's not go crazy. But they've been paying their players forever.
You don't
legitimately.
You don't get good. You don't get as good as they have been lately. But and Army as well without getting some extra money to bring some really good players in there and have them stay in that program. So, but like, I don't blame them. I don't blame them for it. However they do it, fine. They're a good program, and it makes the league that much stronger. But USF, they have a new coach, and here's another thing. They said, everybody was crying about how Silverfield should have done this with all the money Memphis is making. Well, South Florida was paying the same. They had basically the same thing. They had the rev share and all that, and they didn't make the title game either last year. And they had a great quarterback as well.
They had two unbelievable wins early. That was an upset that they didn't make the championship game.
Yeah. Well, they didn't make it. We didn't make it. And money does not guarantee it, but it helps.
No, ask Texas, ask Kentucky in basketball. You got to spend it, but you got to spend it correctly.
Yes, and I think Coach Huff is, he's done it before. He is supremely confident in his ability to do it again because he's done it twice. I mean, he turned around the Marshall program that was languishing, beat Notre Dame in his second year at South Bend, went 9-4 that year, and then turned around a Southern Miss program that was like they were below the toilet. I mean, they were like awful, and they get 7 wins out of him at Southern Miss with the Golden Eagles, and now he's here. And so his program has been proven to work. He has a plan. He works his plan. And, you have a plan, work your plan, and we'll see what the results are. First game here coming up on the 29th.
All right, this is very difficult to say. And I'm kind of hedging myself because, there's 81 new players. But what do you think is a fair expectation of W's? Because I hear a lot of people saying 9, 10 on a team they don't even know about, and they don't even know half the competition. And you got to start at Vegas, which is the number 2 G6 team, and then you got to play at Boise week 3, which, by the way, it's their 40th anniversary. Our engineer supreme and producer, Danny O'Brien, sent me that. They're going to have special helmets and all this other stuff. So it's their 40th anniversary. They're going to be incredibly motivated.
Sandwiched in between that is Arkansas State. It was a bowl team last year.
Trap game supreme.
They've hung with their coach.
Yeah,
they've hung with their coach, and he is a good coach. And they've done some good things up there in Jonesboro. So none of it is going to be easy. Then you got all these games all your toughest games are on the road, kind of vice versa of last year. And so that's the one that makes it difficult to try to put a predictor on the win. And I'm kind of like, I'm like everybody else is. If I say anything, you'll just be spitting in the wind because who knows what they're going to be. How long is it going to take them to gel? Will the fact that they have all these new players, but a lot of them have played for Huff before in both locations.
I think
Marshall
17 or 19. Well, I can't remember which one of those two.
Yeah,
I think it's 17.
Will that really help the gelling point because they are already used to what he's, his system, and they can help the other guys along. That's a help factor, but this is also a step up in competition because the American is a good league. It has been a good league, and it is a good league. It has been the best of the group of 6. So
for football, yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's a fact, though, because everybody comes in and starts grabbing all the players out of this league and all the coaches out of this league. How many coaches went P4 out of this league?
Four.
So they're doing something right in the American in football. So and it's just a big jumble. Who knows how it's going to fall out? If Memphis wins 8 games, how can you be mad at that with a new coach and everybody else, new and not knowing? If they win 9, that would be something. If they win 10, then
if they win 10, they'll be in the championship game and a real factor.
CFP.
Yeah,
you're talking chance at the CFP. So, I don't know. I can't honestly put a number on it because it would just be spitting in the wind, except it's a little bit below the belt.
All right, last thing real quick in about a minute and a half. The Hall of Fame is going to take place September 16th. Your son was on earlier this week to talk a little bit about it. Calipari and Keenan and Chelsea Bramlett. And there's so many great people in this class. I think it's going to be one of the biggest sellouts we have ever had for this event at the convention center on the 16th. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, you talk about star-studded. I mean, with Calipari just by himself would be enough. I think enough time has gone by where people have buried the hatchet on that. You don't win 90 games in 3 years. That's averaging 30 wins a year in a 3-year span. Had that happened before? I don't know if that happened before.
Well, they didn't play that many games before, so no, it didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, they won like 37 games, 38 games the year before he left. And, you produced all those guys. He had back-to-back rookies of the year in the NBA with Rose and I was just looking at it.
I don't know
his name just went for me. You know what I'm talking about. He played
prior to Rose?
Tyreek.
Oh, Tyreek Evans. Tyreek Evans.
Yeah, Tyreek Evans. Yeah,
I forgot about that.
You're getting players in here. I mean, you're getting big-time players in here that do, that are great. And also, like Larry Keenan, people forget about him. I mean, unless you're of a certain age. I was a sophomore in '73, a sophomore in high school when they went to the national championship game against UCLA. Keenan averaged 20 points and 16 rebounds a game.
Oh, he was unbelievable.
I mean, that's insane.
I know.
That is insane. He went on to be an All-NBA player.
This class
lives in San Antonio now because I think that his last stop was with the Spurs. Yep. But just tremendous. He put 20 points and 7 rebounds on Bill Walton before he fouled out.
Yeah, before he fouled out. If he played a full game, that might have been a different ending. As always, my friend, I'm out of time. We could talk forever. I will chat with you soon. And
shout out to all the inductees, though. Shout out to all of them.
Next Thursday we'll be talking about leaving. How about that? That'll be crazy.
Amen.
It's
time to do it.
It's
time to play, buddy. Strap that helmet on, Dave. Let's go.
You got
Here
it.
we go.
That's Jarvis Greer. Brought to you in part by Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Here's a company been around 70 or 80 years, third generation now. William is in the business. Ken Jr.'s been running it for a long time. All 3 of the Garlands have this thing in common. They see all the little details, but they see the big picture too. And that's what you got to be a great builder. And they're great builders. If you go to their website, KenGarlandCustomHomeBuilders.com, what you will see is palaces that they have built or renovated over all these years. You don't want to leave your lot, but you want all the modern amenities, you call Ken. You're looking for land, you're not sure how to find the perfect spot, call Ken. You've got land, you're not sure how to utilize it, call Ken. 3 generations of wisdom. The job is never done. That's the way they treat you, like your family, once you start building with them. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. Andy Schiffman tomorrow, Jonah Dillon tomorrow. The usual suspects will be here bright and early. Johnny Radio's next. Have a great day, everybody.